like our little clap on.
Definitely morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Morning Tea with the Queens. Not too bad for temperature this morning.
Oh,
I
it's
can
awesome.
honestly say that.
This?
I did not freeze myself to death walking down to Terrible's to get my coffee this morning. And I want to give I don't know exactly how many people are watching this morning from there, but I want to give a shout out to CSL Plasma Center out here in Las Vegas, the one specifically on Pecos and Tropicana.
Yes,
All right.
Tropicana. You're right.
We do have a lot of fans over there that do the show.
Wow.
Eventually, we don't know how we're going to set this up just yet, but we do know that eventually it's going to come about that we're going to have some of the plasma guys on the show, and they're going to talk to everybody about what it is to donate plasma. Yes, you get paid for donating plasma.
Yes, you do.
Of course. Good morning, George. Good morning,
Morning.
Rude Mike. Good morning, Ashley. You get paid for donating plasma, but the benefits to you as well as the benefits to the people that receive said plasma. Mm-hmm. And the thing about receiving said plasma is it makes medications.
Yes.
It is also, medications that people cannot live without.
Exactly.
It is also used for burn victims. So people that come in who have been severely burned.
One of my cousins had to have a lot of plasma.
Yeah, exactly. Because if they're severely
He's a
burned,
firefighter.
they have to. Excuse me. Sorry,
We're actually sharing it out, the video out.
Yeah, we need you guys to share it as well. Cause, yeah, that's going to be huge. Any rate, if you get severe burns throughout your body, one of the only ways you're potentially going to survive is to have that plasma, that direct plasma, put into you. So it is very huge, very important that you guys donate plasma.
Yeah,
it's
donate
technically
plasma.
very good for you, and it's good for other people. So I mean, it's an hour of your time. Well, the first time you go, it's like 4.5 hours. And then after that, it's an hour of your time, and from there, you're basically getting paid $50 to lay on a bed, pump your little hand while your blood's taken out, and then put back into you after your plasma's separated, and watch TV. Now, who doesn't want to make $50 an hour and do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
So
pretty good idea.
it's a good idea to do that.
Can I tell my plasma story real quick?
You can. I want to hear your plasma story real quick.
So I make a pit stop into Texas, which is where I moved from to come to Las Vegas. And I had my old, Texas ID or whatever. So I was good. I was able to try to apply and for this plasma or to be able to donate. I wasn't healthy enough.
Oh, what?
You know what I mean? Like, they checked my levels. I was all jacked up.
Oh, wow. Well, they do that. They do check for certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like if you're on certain medications and if you have certain different diseases, they can't really do it. If I remember rightly.
If you have HIV or something like that, then you cannot donate. If you have different autoimmune diseases, you're not going to be able to donate.
My heart rate was up.
Your heart rate, that one's pretty simple.
My heart rate was up, and I think I was a little anxious about giving blood. I hadn't done it in a long time or whatever, and I was a little anxious. I didn't know what the process was like, and I was like,
Yeah.
So they were like, your heart rate is elevated. I don't think we can do this today. I'm like, oh, crap.
Morning, Scotty.
So this morning is a pretty hard-hitting subject. I did something I don't normally do. I went a little bit live this morning through my own little page, through my own Facebook wall.
I missed that?
Yeah, I went through my Facebook wall this morning, pretty much while you guys were probably driving over here. And I kind of give everybody a fair warning, this is a very hard-hitting subject. This is one that today everybody must share this video and get it out there because we're talking about bullying.
Yes.
And we're talking about bullying, especially with children in schools. And it's fortunately on this panel today, you do have 3 females, but you also have somebody who lived as a male. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this one into the open right off the bat. This one's pretty bad. So growing up as a little boy, I was obviously bullied a lot for being the person that I am, and I learned at a very young age, don't ever tell nobody that you're really a girl, because you're going to be bullied. And the story isn't directly related to me. It's related to two other little boys that I went to school with. We were all in 7th grade. And these guys were getting bullied by an 8th grader. And this guy was huge, okay? And I'm not going to say his real name, so we're just going to call him Fred. So
Okay, Fred.
Big, humongous guy. He's in the 8th grade. He stands 6'5". He's an 8th grader.
8th grader at 6'5"?
6'5". And this guy is built, okay? I mean, he's really muscular. He does the whole, football linebacker thing, et cetera, okay? So these two younger guys, they're twins, they're brothers, they are getting bullied by this guy. And their dad decides to tell them, or try to teach them how to fight. And these two are not real small. I mean, they were taller than me. They were running up on that 6 foot, 6'1".
Oh, wow.
So everybody in the school kind of liked the twins at this point in time. I mean, they're getting bullied all the time, but people were still friends with them, and they were like, hey, just kind of shrug it off, we're your friends. So the dad tries to teach them how to fight. They go to fight back against Fred, and this became an epic failure.
Oh,
They both got beat all over the football field. And this is 2 against 1, both of them trying to take Fred on at the same time. They both got their butts beat at the exact same time. Okay, he's whipping the fire out of her.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, the next day they come to school, and everybody that was their friend is no longer their friend. In fact, as they walk down the hallway, they just got a lot of looks and leers. And as they pass by, hey, that's the guys that got their ass beat.
Right.
And people are doing that. Before the school year was out, the two of them went out on the football field and planned it out together, and they hung themselves from the field goal.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was before the school year was out, because from that day forward, they spent almost the next 5 months to the time they hung themselves getting absolutely no love from anybody that was once upon a time their friend. Take a moment to absorb that. And they hung themselves because, here again, Fred was a part of the football team, and so they decided to make their statement there, and they killed themselves. Unfortunately, this is the blowback of what happens when your parents think, you're thinking that you're doing right by telling your kids to fight back, and
you're not.
Quite frankly, you're not. Unless you train that little boy of yours or little girl of yours, either way, to be some kind of kickboxer to fight back. Teaching them how to throw a punch or how to block is not going to help against somebody who does this pretty much every day of their lives, beating up on other little kids.
Right.
And then the blowback, social blowback that comes from them getting their arse beat is beyond devastation. It's now taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
I have a bullying story too of when I was younger. I was in elementary school, junior high, middle school. There was this kid, for whatever reason, every day he used to pick on me. He would follow me around the school. I didn't know it was bullying at that time. I wasn't aware of what that is. But he would bother me between, lunch, between, our nutrition hour. He would just follow me. And one time I was on the playground or whatever, and somehow he threw me to the ground and knocked the wind out of me.
Ooh.
And I could not breathe. And it took me a while to come to, and catch my breath. It's kind of like the way that I, fell or something. It just knocked the wind out of me.
Knocked out, yeah.
And after that, I went and told my PE teacher, this kid keeps bothering me, and I don't know what to do. And I think once he saw that I took it real serious and knew that he was a threat to me, or whatever, he finally backed off. But it was months of him following around. I would be on the bleachers. He would come sit next to me and pick at me and say these cruel things. And it was crazy. And I was starting to really be afraid because I didn't know if he was going to follow me after school or if he was going to hurt me further. You know what I'm saying? It was starting to get to that point.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, well, see, and you hear parents, I don't know if you remember back in the day they say, oh, if a little boy picks on you, they like you.
Right.
That's
No.
not necessarily
That's
true.
beyond,
That is
yeah.
beyond true. That's not true.
He was hurting. He
was
me.
hurting you. He wasn't
Yeah.
bullying. He wasn't. No.
Right. So
That's
I
another
mean,
falsity.
my lesson, I guess, in that was make sure that you tell someone.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
make sure you tell
Don't,
someone.
don't allow
And
someone to bully you and not say anything, because I
And-
let it go on kind of too long. You know what I mean?
In school, we had this wonderful. He was a boy with disabilities in the 5th, 6th grade, and everybody was picking on him. I couldn't stand it. I remember one time going out to recess, and there was a bunch of them around pushing him and yelling at him and stuff. And everybody remembers the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, definitely.
He was able. You could give him a mixed up Rubik's Cube, and in 5 minutes he would have it fixed. And so, people were picking on him because he was different. He was smarter and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got fed up, and I just started whooping everybody. And then I went to the principal's office, and I got in trouble for beating up these kids. I'm like, well, they were bullying him. They were picking on him.
Yeah.
And I got in trouble. So I got upset, and my stepdad decided, after I told him the whole story, he said, we're going to the superintendent. So we went to the superintendent. The boys were expelled. I was allowed back in school because of the fact that, I was defending this kid. And then
Right.
after that happened, so many kids in the school were like, she's in love with him. She's going to marry him. They were doing all that. And that's a verbal bullying.
That's
Just because I
another-
stood
yeah.
up. That was another form of
Yeah.
bullying. It's
That-
not just
it
physical
is.
people. It's verbal, I'm sure we've seen all over Facebook those one videos of,
yeah, and it happens
it's-
all the
a
time.
lot.
And part of what can set off bullying from people is the way they were treated to begin with.
Exactly.
You talked about the little boy that was following you
Yeah.
around. In a lot of
Yeah.
cases, with the little boys, and again, me growing up in a little boy's world, little boy likes little girl, and little girl gives him the brush off, and just acts all that in a bag of chips better than him. And the next thing you know, you got a little boy who's becoming a bully. Or he
Exactly.
feels like, oh my God, I'm an outcast and nobody likes me. And eventually you end up with something like Columbine happening.
Oh,
you
right,
have those
yeah.
boys that were just treated as outcasts.
Right.
And so
Exactly.
to the parents out there, I would say personally, this is my thought, okay, as a parent myself, I would say teach your daughters to not do that to the little boys, especially the little boys, because it's like, okay, if you're not into the guy, so
Just
be it.
tell 'em.
Just
Yeah,
be nice and
tell
say, you know
'em.
what, I don't want to date you. I don't see you that way, but we can be friends. And
Exactly.
then look at their other little girlfriends, because the girl clique is worse than a guy clique has ever thought of being. As I'm learning today and becoming a female, I've learned this in my last school, especially the little girl cliques. Okay, and then we're talking college level there, but it still happens.
I've never had to
Either
experience
way-
they need
either
to
way
be
on-
strong enough to look at
Yeah.
their other little girlfriends and say, I don't care what you think.
Right.
I don't want to date him, but
Exactly.
I'm not going to not be his friend and treat him as
Exactly.
an outcast.
Either way, male or female, either way is
Bullying
wrong.
is bad.
Yeah,
Bullying is
bad.
hugely bad.
And I mean, like those type of kids that put out bullying or they initiate it, they become abusers later on, or people
Yes.
with a criminal background.
Yes.
It doesn't stop. Like you go into society being this person that's it just doesn't stop.
It doesn't
stop.
stop. And a lot of times it carries into adulthood.
That's what I'm saying.
So
yeah.
as
Those in
little
adulthood.
kids,
Yeah.
they're minors, and little kids, they're smart. They have the internet
They're-
at their
they're
disposal.
smarter than people think.
They have things at their disposal that we didn't have as kids. You guys are all
you
close
go-
to my
yeah,
age.
when you get-
and when we were in elementary and middle school and even high school, the internet didn't exist to
Nope.
the common person.
Like this, yeah.
You needed
Not like
CompuServe
now.
or Prodigy and $35 an hour and a credit card and 2-hour
Exactly.
billing. So it didn't exist. But nowadays it exists. So little kids are fast finding out, oh, I'm a minor. What can they do to me? I can beat this kid
Exactly.
up and get away with it. I can vandalize the property and get away with it. Well, unfortunately, and again, I can tell you from experience, in 2011, I'm in an adult school and I decide, wow, I'm in an adult environment. There's gay people in the fashion department. They're in interior design. They're all over the place. I should be okay. Everybody seems to be okay with them. And I decide I'm going to come out and make my transition then.
Right.
And at that time, I was the assistant librarian as well, and kind of, the big dude on campus, so to speak. Everybody loved me. And the minute I came out about it, my friends went down to pretty much zero. With the exception of my department head and one other person, my friends went to zero, and I got the laughs and the snickers and so on and so forth, to the point where I finished my degree in graphic design and only made it halfway through my degree with film at that school before I quit. I left.
The pressure got to be so great.
The pressure
too
was
much.
so damn great that I left. I got out of it. I was tired of being treated like crap. And these are people who are supposed to be, 18 or older. The high school mentality, the elementary mentality should have been left behind.
Right.
But it's the same bullying.
It is.
Same crap. I would come into the library to work my shift, and a lot of my materials, the regular librarian would step out, they're missing. And now I look like an idiot as to where my materials are. I was getting in trouble a lot as a result.
Wow.
I'd get the Snickers. I'd be in there working and doing something, and I'd see, the guys, especially the guys, sitting over by, he's got his fingernails painted. Oh my God, look at that. What the hell?
Exactly.
I was getting all kinds of crap for it. So I know it, it does extend into
Adulthood.
the adulthood. So
Right.
we got to teach our kids at a very young age this bullying thing. No. And don't fight back, especially as a little boy, man, unless you're trained kickboxer. You need to teach your kids, like, you know what? You're not going to catch as much flack going to the teacher or to the parent or to the law, for that matter, to deal with this bully. That the little bit of flack you're going to get there is a lot better than what you're going to get if you try to attack this guy.
And I would say this, I think I was talking to someone just a few minutes ago about how a peculiar person, say you see a peculiar kid or whatever, that does not mean that they're strange because they're crazy.
Exactly. It doesn't.
Like I was saying that when I was younger, I kind of was withdrawn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I wasn't a social butterfly as a young kid. But there was so much going on in my head as I was coming up and growing up. Where I lived was not easy to deal with. I was in the inner city, in the hood, and every day we woke up to guns and stuff to two rival gangs. So when I got to school, it was like that was my time to just kind of breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like being bothered or talking to a bunch of people.
Exactly.
And on top of that, I think about this today. I ended up becoming an entertainer. So go figure that.
Go figure.
So
Yeah.
when you see a kid that is peculiar or they have a disability or they're different than what you are, don't pick on them. You understand? Just based on that premise.
Yeah, never do that.
Yeah.
And I had my next bullying. I was actually bullied when I moved to Wyoming. When my mom moved us there, I went to a junior high school. The town was there was no minorities mixed or nothing there. And so when I came to town, my mom being the only mixed child in the city,
Right.
it was a big deal. My first day of school, I was attacked by 4 girls. I mean, literally, because they yelled the N-word, there's an N in our school, and attacked me. They were really prejudiced, but I fought them off. But throughout the school year, I was bullied because, she's different. She's not like the rest of us and everything. So I it really hurt a lot, but I put myself out there I threw myself into sports. I was doing track, orchestra, choir, football.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I pushed myself into so many activities to prove and the sad thing was I was pregnant at the time when I went to school, and that made it that for some reason, when they found out I was pregnant, that turned it even more so. And I even got into a fight when I was 8 months old, 8 months pregnant with my oldest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got into a fight in the alley, and the girl kicked me in the stomach. Luckily, my son was a certain way, but you don't kick a pregnant woman, because I became like Godzilla, and I was like, I literally, and then after that happened, it stopped. The bullying stopped. It took all those years I was going through junior high, but the bullying stopped at that point when I literally fought somebody and beat them up because of the fact that they were hurting me and my child.
And so you got away with it because you won the fight. Think about what would have happened.
And if I would have
had you have lost,
I would have
fight.
probably been attacked. But it's
it would have become worse, because then you're also
and
the
it was
outcast. You're
I'm
the
also
person
the
who
outcast.
lost the
Well,
fight.
yeah, and I was also and so the whole year, I went through the whole year. I was I didn't want to get up and go to school.
Yeah.
But I told myself I need my education.
You gotta get it
it's
done,
very
yeah.
important.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to, and I had no choice. There was no other junior highs. There was no other. They didn't have the homeschooling back then, and so you know, it was rough the whole year until like the last 2 months of school when I got in a fight. In that, but the rest of the year it was a nightmare.
Yeah, I dealt
It
with
was a
that too.
nightmare.
Being, I was 14 and pregnant, and I actually graduated 8th grade and walked across the stage 4 months pregnant. I was that young, and again, I was very withdrawn. And my thing again, you guys, on the peculiarity, if that's a word, of a kid. If you see them and if you go talk to them. I don't even know if that's a word. If you go talk to them, it's close to it. Thank you.
Close.
Thank you.
It's close.
Thank you. They actually might be cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you take the time and
take
get
the
to
time to
know
get
a
to know
person. Yeah.
Yeah, get to know somebody. You know.
If you guys want to chime in on
Listen.
this subject,
Please.
let me put this out there while
Okay,
we
go ahead.
continue. If you want to chime in on the subject, our call-in number is 702-776-9097. Call in. Let's hear your comments live. As you were saying.
I was going to say that the first week that we came on the air, due to Lacey being transgender, I was actually attacked about that.
Yeah,
like
you
the
were
first
attacked.
couple
You were
of days,
attacked.
and I told her, I'm like, look, I'm no longer affiliating with that person because they don't know you.
Yeah, they don't know
Exactly.
me.
You're
They're making
amazing.
an assumption.
You know what I mean? You are the
You're
one that
amazing,
gave me
you
an
know?
opportunity, whatever change you're going through or whatever your transitions are. To me, it's equal grounds because you presented an opportunity to me, and that's all that matters. And again, different is not bad.
Different is
Yeah,
not bad.
different's
people.
not
You know what I
bad.
mean?
And you're being the bigger person
Right.
over people saying, oh, you're going to go to work with a transgender person. Oh, my God, you're going to be ostracized out of the film community or the
Right.
entertainment community. No, she gave it a
Whatever.
chance. She gave it a chance. She took the high road.
Take the high road.
Yes.
Always
and said,
take the high
I'm
road.
not going to be
people.
the bully. I'm not going to. You're being a bully. Even speaking of me in said situation, that's being a bully.
Right.
That too is being a bully. People don't think about that. Your words
Yes.
alone can
Yeah.
be bullying towards someone, so you don't want to do that either. And she took the high road, and here we are today, which
Exactly.
is awesome.
And different can still be successful.
Yes.
That's again what I'm saying, that different is not an alienating
We have a call
scenario.
coming in.
All right.
And hello. You're on the air with us. Who do we have? We're trying to hear, but we're not hearing anything. So
We're not hearing anything. They're on.
They are on. Can you hear us out there? We can't hear you. Let's try it this way. Can you hear me now? Okay, you're gonna have to try speaking up. Who do we have on the line?
We got Rude Mike.
Hey, Rude Mike.
Hey, Rude Mike.
And I was just about to mention, Rude Mike, you brought up a good point. Not everybody who is that way when they're younger turns out to be that way in adulthood.
That's true, because I'm going to admit I was one hell of a bully. I bullied teachers. I bullied the students, the staff. I beat up a principal. I was the one, the teacher could sit there. I'd throw a desk at the teacher. I'd beat the kids up with the garbage cans if they said the wrong thing. But then I turned around and had my first child at 16 and grew up. So all bullies don't always turn out bad. And then too, what some people need to think about, why are people bullying? What's going on in that child's life for them to be out there bullying?
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's
What
true.
happened to cause that kid to be
To be
Why?
a bully in
Yeah,
the
what
first
caused
place.
him to be a bully?
Because I was bullying because at the time I was dealing with family problems. So it was back and forth, you know what I mean? So that was the only outlet that I had, was bullying, going to school. And, okay, I'm being bullied at home, so now let me go to school and show you guys what it feels like. But there's a huge difference. Some people need to think both sides. It's not just, oh, that kid's bullying. Well, again, what made that child turn out to be a bully? People just don't wake up and decide, oh, I'm
Right.
going to go to school today and beat everybody up that walks my cross path. No, there's more to the story. And kids that get bullied, I hate to say it, I'm older now. I feel bad for him. My son is 10 years old, just finally made it to 90 pounds. He gets bullied because he's 10 years old, reading at a 12th grade reading level. so the other kids are upset because he's a little bit smarter than them.
Wow.
He gets drugged at school. He gets beat up. That's the reason, like you were saying about teaching your kids to fight back. It needs to be done the right way. My son and my daughter are both in mixed martial arts, so that hasn't happened in years because of, like you said, I did it the right way. I didn't just tell them to fight back. I gave them the tools to fight back with.
She stepped out.
Yep. I hear you, Rude Mike. Thank you for calling in. How's
Thank
everything
you.
going? I know you're still healing from everything. It's good to hear your voice. I'm glad you're still alive out there with us.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing good. Hopefully, I might be able to come home today. So.
Yay.
Oh, that is awesome.
Awesome.
Right
Yeah.
on, right on. Y'all send your thoughts and prayers out to
Yeah,
Rude Mike.
prayers to Rude Mike.
And,
Well, we thank you for calling from your hospital bed. Like, you're amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank
You're
you so
amazing,
much.
man.
Thank you so much for speaking.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
No problem. This is the subject I had to get on. So, you guys are doing a wonderful job, and I look forward to, once I get myself together, making my way on the show and sitting down to have
Yay.
some
Definitely.
We can't
We
wait
need-
to have
we
you.
can't wait to have you, Rude Mike. Thank you for calling in this
Thank
morning.
you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a blessed day.
You too.
So Rude Mike was basically addressing, if I don't know if you guys heard it, or whatever, but Rude Mike was basically saying that all bullies, is something going on.
There's
with them.
something going on.
There's
at
something.
home, yeah.
Yeah.
It
So-
could be at home. It could be the little girl that ignored them to begin with.
It could be a ton of things.
It could be a ton of things.
And especially in this day and age when it's pretty sad. I don't like really going out to eat anymore because when you go to a restaurant, me and my boyfriend went to a restaurant and I literally wanted to cry because you look around and parents are pushing iPads in front of their kids. They're not talking to them and they're just on their phones. And they're the only people in that restaurant that were talking was an older couple. So we put our phones down, we started talking. Next thing you know, we noticed people were paying attention to their kids. Another thing with this day and age, with all this technology, we have our phones, we have the iPads, we have cable has 3,000 channels now.
Yeah, exactly.
So and video games, we got and nobody's taking the time to talk to their children, spend time with your children. I mean, it's hard.
But the dinner table is the perfect
the
place.
dinner table-
Put the phones down, put the iDevices, power them off,
And,
and then talk to your kids and find out what's going on in their lives.
Exactly.
You may not notice it, especially in our busy. We have to multitask. We're in a
Yeah,
society
so
of
you don't-
multitaskers, and you can't survive without being able to do that anymore.
You really can't.
So you're not going to notice the little bitty
Little
teeny
tiny
changes,
things.
whether your kid's becoming a bully or is being bullied.
Right.
by a
Exactly. But a guy in Europe invented this wonderful device and that to help bring people to the dinner table. You know those pepper mill grinders? He made it so that when you turn it, it shuts off everything in the house. All electronics get
We
shut
have another call coming in.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Calls are coming in.
Good morning. You're
Good
live
morning.
with the Queens. What's your question or comment today? Okay, hold on a second.
Hold on, we
I'm gonna have to
can't-
get better speakers. Can you hear me now? We can hear you now, I think. Are you able to hear us now?
Hello?
Oh, that was
We can barely hear you.
Couch auction. Oh, there's a gentleman on here, Robert Jacobs, thinks that we're having a couch auction.
We are not having a couch auction.
Couch, is this the couch auction? Is what he says.
No. This is
Rose,
not the
this
couch
is not
auction.
the couch auction.
Okay.
Oh my God!
No, I
This
even
is-
told him, no, this is not the couch auction. Thank you for watching our show.
Thank you for
Thank
watching
you.
the show. Absolutely.
This is Morning Tea with the Queens.
Is that a bullying statement?
I just see that now. Is
It's
this
the couch auction.
Okay.
Over the couch auction, I believe, is like 5 groups over somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere, but we're not it.
And we're glad that everybody is joining
Thank
and
you.
sharing the page today.
And-
And we hope that you guys will eventually join Pop's OMD Theater for his venue. He has some of the best prices in town and some of the best food in town. Pizzas, mozzarella sticks, turkey sandwiches,
turkey
etc.
sandwiches.
So call Pop's OMD Theater. They're located on East Sahara Avenue. It's one of the best places you could possibly want to hold your next event. Coming up, let's bring on our guest today. This man is a filmmaker. He is one of the best I've seen. I've just seen the press release for his new film, Chase, which is going to premiere on New Year's Day 2018. And
Oh,
I'm telling you
nice.
guys, this is going to be out on Amazon. I am so looking forward to see this. Please welcome Charles S. Womack to the show.
David.
Or David, excuse me, David. I don't know why I have a Charles. We've had Charles on the show quite a bit. So.
Yeah, so we were
I
like,
have
yeah.
Charles is one of our co-hosts, so
Good
that
morning,
was an honest
Malia.
mistake.
So, David, welcome to the show. Why don't you go ahead and
welcome.
tell our viewing audience a little bit about yourself?
So I'm a film director, producer. I'm working on a film right now called Doorbell. It's separate from Chase.
Okay.
But Chase is a documentary that was the concept was brought to me about a year ago about the bullying epidemic. Now it's viral. Everybody's talking about bullying nowadays. And I think now is the right time to bring this documentary to the forefront so people could see it and people could really learn, the background of bullying, why people bully.
Right,
You know,
right, and that's
you saw
always the
screener.
biggest question. And yeah, I saw the screener.
Yeah.
This is an absolutely phenomenal movie. I am
Thank you.
dying to see it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm really dying to see it.
Yeah.
Give us some insight as to what you may have learned about bullying while you were filming this whole thing.
Every 7 minutes, a kid is bullied. Like,
Oh,
Every 7 minutes.
yes.
Every 7 minutes.
Wow.
So,
That's crazy.
We're what 9:30 now, so
9:37.
3-4 kids. Yeah.
So 4
You know,
kids have been bullied
already.
just in the length
You know.
of our show already.
So
Yeah.
once I learned that, I knew that this documentary would change the way people think about bullying.
Exactly.
It has facts about bullying, tons and tons of facts.
Awesome.
It has multiple accounts of people being bullied.
Right.
Powerful stories. Some of you may know some of the people in the film, and I think it's a really, especially the timing. I think it's a really good film for people to go out and see. It's PG-13, so a lot of people could see it.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend the smaller kids to see it, but it's still a learning piece for parents, so they could deal and they could find out if their kid is bullying, how to deal with that and how to face
deal
it.
with it.
So how did you feel as you were making this movie? How did it make you feel, emotions inside and everything? How did did you have to pause and take a few breaths during the filming? Was it really intense, overwhelming to hear all these stories?
Yeah, it was, because a lot of the bullying doesn't necessarily come from friends or schoolmates. A lot of it can come from family members.
Whoa.
Really?
Like a brother or sister or a parent. So the way that makes you feel is just me, going through watching my editor edit the film is kind of like it kind of grabs your heart.
I bet it does.
Like all 55 minutes of it,
So-
from beginning to end.
Can I ask something? What would you suggest to a kid that is being bullied by a family member? What would be your suggestion as to how
what
to
can they
handle
do?
that?
See, there are a lot of organizations that are set up for bullying or anti-bullying organizations that these young kids could go to.
Right.
7, 8 years old that they can actually contact. There's websites for these kids to actually go to outside of a parent's help, because everybody's bullied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some kids don't know how to call the cops or talk to a teacher. There's websites so things are more private, so that their answers could be engaged. They can be engaged right there on the
Right.
spot.
I would like to mention a program called Bully Busters. It's Keith Bowen. And
I've heard
let me
of that.
tell you how I know about this program. I was a co-host with him on the radio about 7 or 8 years ago, and he started talking about this program that he wanted to start in schools and wanted to get started. It's called Bully Busters. And oh my God, today he has the program in school now.
Nice.
That was just a vision back then in his head, and we would just talk about it day to day. And now it's actually a real program. He has an anti-bullying hotline, just all type of stuff. He had a bullying radio show with kids. The kids were the ones that were the radio hosts, you know what I mean? And they talked about stories of being bullied in school and stuff like that. So look up Bully Busters. You can Google it. Bullybusters.com is the website. Just an amazing program. He's done an
Sounds
amazing
like
thing.
it. We have a caller on the air. Who do we have with us today?
Hello?
Yes, hello. What's your name and what's your question today? Apparently, he figured out he had called the wrong thing. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Couch auction. Okay.
This is not the couch auction.
This is not
we
the
have
couch
no
auction.
couches. These are tables and chairs.
Here, I don't see a couch in here. No. Okay.
Okay, so continue, please.
But
Yes.
about the Bully Busters, we actually contacted that program to be
awesome.
a part of the documentary
Oh,
and to
good.
give their statements.
Yeah.
The timing, there was a timing issue, but from what they do and how they produce, their shows with the kids and the kids giving their voices versus adults.
Let's try this again.
We may not understand a lot of the kids and what they're saying sometimes.
Right.
So, but kids can definitely understand other kids.
Yes,
Definitely.
they can.
You're live on the air with Morning Tea with the Queens. What's your question? What's your name? Hello, can you hear me? We can hear you.
Hello?
I think we're probably being butt dialed. Right?
It is a very good possibility we are being butt dialed.
All the technology, you still butt dial people.
So if
Don't
you have a
worry.
serious question and want to actually talk to us, please call in on the live number. It's 702-776-9097 if you have any questions for David. Continue on. I mean, it sounds to me like your film is probably going to...
I've always wondered if there was real tea in here.
Okay, so...
I am going to remedy that situation.
She's going to have to do it because if they keep leaving it up to me, I'm so low on estrogen right now that these teacups will never get filled
people.
if they're leaving it up to me to remember to buy the tea.
I will be taking care of this the first of the year.
If his Irish accent comes out, that's when you know he's mad.
Yeah,
She will go crazy.
She
and I take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
She told us that.
All right, we're going to try to do
Same
this.
number,
Well, I
one
never
more.
can
Okay.
tell, but we're going to find out again. Hold on. Morning Tea with the Queens. You're live on the air. Who are we talking to? Hello.
Yeah. We're ruffling papers.
Yeah,
and
we
all
can
kinds of
hear
stuff.
papers and all kinds of things ruffling up. So we're going to ignore your number from now on.
Exactly.
I hate to say it that way to my
But-
viewing, but if we're just going to ignore.
That was definitely a
That was
a butt
714 number. I have no clue what that is.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So
That's Anaheim.
Yeah.
is that
Oh,
Anaheim?
that's California.
Well, at least we know people in California are actually watching the show. That's awesome. With
That's
you.
his.
Good morning to Naomi, Eddie, Kelly, and Christina, and everybody else out there
Awesome.
watching, John Riggins, etc.
Oh, there's a ton of
So-
them. I said hi to
As I
them.
was saying before, Dale, it sounds to me like in doing this documentary, you yourself have probably learned 10 million things about bullying that you didn't even know before.
Yeah. So, filming the documentary, learning that bullying, there's microbullying, and then there's the bullying that we see today.
Right.
Now,
Exactly.
some of the bullying statements that can happen, or microaggressions that can happen, they happen all day long. It may have happened at this table already, but
Yeah.
it's something that we have to come kind of meet head on.
Right.
To kind of find solutions, find the solutions every single day, every single hour,
Right.
to try to make us feel better and to kind of put the bullying on the back burner instead
Exactly.
of constantly just
Exactly.
constant badgering. Now with adults, bullying doesn't happen as often, but with kids, it's happening.
It's happening all the
day
time.
long, throughout school, after school, on the school bus. And a lot of times the kids don't come home to talk to parents. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So, they don't really have to deal with it.
Right.
But when they turn 5, when they turn 6, they get into kindergarten, they get into, first grade, high school. They're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
It's something that we can't really escape right now.
No,
Oh, yeah,
it's an
Exactly.
unfortunate thing.
Solution.
My
Exactly.
daughter just got enrolled in a new school this past weekend. First day out, she was pushed down by
Oh,
a kid.
man.
She's 5. I said, "What did you do, honey?" "Oh, well, I was upset and I cried, And I said, "Well, you have to go and tell your teacher." She's 5, and she dealt with that on the first day of school. Can you imagine?
Oh,
in her
man,
little
the
mind?
rest-
She's already in a new school. That's
Yeah.
pressure in itself. But to also be pushed down on the first day. It's
That's
a lot.
just terrible.
bad.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, getting pushed down on the first day. Okay, if anybody calls in, I'm just going to answer it via speakerphone. So I think that was Leland Shogun White that was trying to call in.
Okay.
Yeah.
They put no answer on there. So Leland, if you try it again, we're going to do it a little different. It might be these speakers not working
They
right.
might not be
Or
wanting
also,
to.
he can call my phone if he has to, because my
But
he knows my personal.
yeah, it's that's just plumb ridiculous. You know, and a lot of times I also wonder, and you've probably heard the stories doing the documentary, the little cliques that happen, you know, because, my parents are rich, or because
Your
my
parents
parents are
are-
poor,
yeah.
or I come from the ghetto and you come from a hole in the ground, or whatever, you know, it causes
Exactly.
little cliques, and then those cause conflict.
Absolutely, 100%. And something that I want to ask you guys is, like, what are some stories that you guys have on being bullied?
You know, for
mentioned
I've got
earlier.
a ton of them.
You know, I mean, so we're gonna save yours for last.
Oh, absolutely.
But what are stories that you have? I know you mentioned one earlier, but what else could they really grasp from? Your situation?
I had a adopted daughter that I kind of got upset with her because in preschool, this little boy kept bugging her and kissing her, and she couldn't handle it. When they got to kindergarten, the same thing. So for her retaliation, which I got upset about as soon as I found out, was she rallied other students in first and second grade to beat up this little boy. And I told her that's wrong. You can't do that. Is it working? And I said that's wrong. And it reminded me, am I teaching her this? Why didn't she come to me about this? Why didn't she go to her father? And that her thing was because she was afraid nobody would do anything.
Tell me,
Yeah.
I can call
Exactly. Nobody would do anything.
Okay, you're live on the air. Who am I talking to?
This is Shogun.
Shogun.
Hi, Shogun.
Welcome to the show. We finally got you on here.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing
doing
good,
good.
doing good. So what you got for us this morning, Shogun?
I got a question for the gentleman, because I was listening and he was talking about bullying can come from within the family, mother and father and everything. But my question is, because how the schools are now, like, say, for instance, I had a situation that occurred to me with my oldest son. This was years ago. And to me, I'm disciplining him. But what happened was he reported it to the school, and they had me come to the school and basically had to sit in and everything like that, like, trying to tell me how I should raise my son. And to me, that's almost putting a situation where some parents that are trying to discipline kids, and they look at it as they're bullying them. So I want to know what's the difference between, understanding bullying. So, I don't think I was bullying, but I'd like to know what's the difference between it.
Well, that's a really
That's
good
a really
question.
good question.
So, I'm no expert on this situation. A bunch of, stories were brought to me because I am a film producer and director. But something that I noticed that he mentioned is, discipline. That's discipline, across the board. Now, but if there's a goal to the discipline versus just me disciplining you without giving you some type of reason why, that could be borderline bullying.
Absolutely.
But a lot of discipline from parents to kids, those have goals at the end. Maybe the kid did something where, he made bad grades in school, or maybe the kid was bullying someone else, or whatever the case may be. But if there's a goal on the other side of the bullying accusation, then
Exactly.
that's more of the discipline realm than just straight all out bullying.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I
It's-
would typically agree with that.
Definitely.
Because I'm just curious, because I'm a father of 6, you know what I'm saying? And, my youngest is 8, you know what I'm saying? And to me, there's certain things that you should do as a child, as my mother taught me, so I'm like, well, was I being abused or something like that? I thought I was just being disciplined, and that's the thing about it, some people get that misunderstood between
Yeah.
discipline
As long
and
as you can
bullying.
articulate that the goal at the end of the discipline is a meaningful goal and it makes sense, then most people should understand. I'm sure all of us at this table understand that there was a goal at the end of your particular disciplinary
Exactly.
action.
Okay.
I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you.
All right, thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling
Thank
in,
you.
Show.
Way
Yeah,
to figure
appreciate
out the
that.
problem, Lacey.
That's what you call being an engineer.
There you
okay?
go.
I'm like
That's
bound
the
and
engineer
determined
coming out there, girl. There we go.
Hell bent and
Students in
All of us at this table understand.
oh, let me turn down this part of it.
There we go.
To Robert Jacobs. No, this is not a couch auction.
We are not the.
Unbelievable. And if that's
Wow.
you trolling me, Justin, if
Justin,
you're trolling me,
oh.
I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, my little pretty.
And your little dog too. Wait, does he have a dog?
I think he's got a cat.
Okay, and your little kitty too.
I'm
There
going
you
to get you
go.
one way or the other. All right, so again, this is a hardcore subject this morning, with the bullying and stuff. And if you've got a question or a comment, and then apparently we have another one coming in. So let's find out who we have. Good morning, your morning tea, your live morning tea with the Queens. Who are we talking to?
Hello.
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 Hi, you're on morning tea with the Queens. What's your question or comment?
My name is Ashley, and I have a question for David. My question is, how do you think that your documentary is going to help these kids that are being bullied?
All right, say that question one more time. You kind of cut out there.
How do you think that your documentary is going to be helping, like, these kids that are being bullied when they watch your documentary? Like, how do you think it's going to help them?
Well, so at
That's a
the
good question.
That is a good question.
well, you got to watch the documentary first. But there are organizations that are set up for kids that are being bullied. I kind of highlight those in the documentary. Because a lot of those organizations, like the one you mentioned earlier, they're geared and they're experts in this particular realm. Like I said, I'm a filmmaker. I'm just a producer, director. I brought all of the these accounts, the witnesses' accounts,
Together.
into one place so that we can easily find it on this one documentary. So, but I do think that kids could learn some of the facts about bullying, how often it happens, who can be bullied, how to engage a bully properly without being harmed, because a lot of bullies, realistically, they're dealing with something in their own life.
Right.
They're
Exactly.
dealing with hurt, they're dealing with pain, they're dealing with grief, a lost loved one, whatever the case may be. They're dealing with something.
Something, yeah.
So there in the documentary, I explain that there are ways to engage those people to find out what their problem is. Like literally to find
Exactly.
out. What
So you're saying basically that the documentary itself is the source guide.
100%.
That's the source
That's
guide.
what you've been saying.
So,
Like I was the initiator and the producer that put the entire thing together and brought the subject forward. But the bullying, documentary is the source guide itself, based on the stories and the people that appear in this documentary.
So you definitely
Absolutely.
want to watch this documentary,
Absolutely.
and if you have kids over the age of 13, you have them watch it too.
So,
have them watch it too,
caller,
right?
does that answer your question?
It does. That was a good answer. I also I feel like would this bring more awareness to the parents too? Because I feel like they need to know more about bullying too, so they can know what their kids are going through.
Exactly.
Actually, the documentary is set up for parents. Like we mentioned, it's
So
a
to
guide
educate the
for
parents.
parents to give them knowledge of how often bullying happening. It happens to kids. How often bullying happens in the workplace with the parents.
Right.
So they're learning every step of the way. All 55 minutes of the documentary, there's a learning process that's happening.
Because I think you spoke earlier about a disconnection in family nowadays.
Disconnection in
We
family,
have
yes.
to be taught in a different manner now
Yeah.
because of the disconnection in family.
Exactly.
And I think this is going to be amazing for
Yeah.
families
I
to
can't wait
sit
to
down
see
and
it.
watch, and be able to use it
Yep.
as their source guide for what to look out for.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Thank you for calling in on the show this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome
So
question.
we're getting some great questions from the audience.
Great.
And we got time to take more. So definitely, if you've got a question or a comment that you'd like to ask David or one of the Queens, please feel free to go ahead and call in. We got about 10 minutes left in the show, so we do have time for questions and comments. And so, why did you choose the platform you chose to release to? So it's going out on Amazon, right?
Yeah. So I Okay, so this is more of the business behind filmmaking. So, once you have a film, you produce a film,
Right.
And then you look for distribution.
Right.
I went through a service called Bitmax.
Okay, Bitmax.
It's you ever heard of TuneCore?
No.
TuneCore?
No, I have not heard of it, but Bitmax I'm
but
familiar with.
Bitmax is, an aggregator. They have Netflix, they have access to Hulu, Facebook
Okay.
Video, or Facebook Watch, the whole nine. So
Okay.
you go through Bitmax, they watch your film, they QC your film. QC means quality control.
Right.
They'll
Right.
watch it over and over 100 times to make sure everything is professional.
Correct.
But Bitmax is a really good service to go through to get your film out there.
How do you spell that?
BITMAX.
BITMAX.
Okay.
So
Just for our audience, I want to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
in case they want to search that or look that up.
yeah, so to help get your films out there, go to Bitmax. They're not sponsoring me or anything. It's just a service that
Service
I
that you
use
use to get it to
my film.
Amazon.
And they pick and choose. So they pitch the film to Netflix, Hulu, or whatever. But it's a process. So one of the first avenues that we decided to go through was Amazon Studios, and they said yes. They were the first
Right
ones
away.
to do that.
That is awesome.
So and then we signed the contract. We signed an exclusive deal with Amazon because they said yes. So I was like, yeah, take.
That's
everything.
Amazon, yeah.
Amazon's taking over everything.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, they're
They
letting
are.
good stuff
They're-
like
they're
this
doing
come
it,
out.
yeah.
So they give you a platform for you to show your content and to get it out there. Now I also have another film that's coming out. It's showcasing at a film festival later this month.
Okay.
I don't have the date yet, but I'll post it on social media. David S Womack on Facebook. Go and follow me.
Is that going through Miss Michelle Boykin's film festival, or is it a different one?
I'm not sure who's hosting the film festival.
Uh-huh.
It's like an all-female panel.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Oh,
it's
okay.
like one of those film festivals.
Mm-hmm.
But, my film Doorbell was really a good film. And one of the leads is a female.
Okay.
And she has a really powerful scene in Doorbell.
Gotcha.
I'll send you guys screeners so you guys can watch it.
Awesome,
It's really
awesome.
good. High quality, high production. This isn't the couch auction.
This is-
This has got to be Justin.
This
You're
has got to be
trolling me.
Justin.
Justin, stop trolling.
He is
Really?
the biggest troll. If you've ever been trolled on the internet under any
Justin's
subject,
the one.
So
this guy is probably the
Yeah,
one.
on the bullying topic, trolling is like I said,
A bullying
micro bullying
Yeah.
situations.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
happen
micro-bullying
all
situation.
the time. So guys, be careful out there what you're doing because you don't know how it'll affect people. And their
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Especially when you have a show, on a subject like this, and you troll it in this manner. A lot of people could take this the wrong way and get really badly offended at it.
Yeah.
So even though, hey, you guys are doing it in good fun. I know Justin very well. He works for the homeless in town. I know him very, very well. He's a comedian. And he does it out of pure fun. And with us,
Tyler
he
Jones
knows.
said, "My bad."
Yeah, my bad, Tyler. Yeah.
Well, see, with that statement when he said "my bad," that shows you that he understands.
He understands.
Yeah, he
What's
understands.
happening.
And
Well,
we
Tyler-
appreciate your understanding on that,
Thank you, Tyler.
And then, so we had a problem, and now we have the solution for that problem. That is that easy, and that's how it's easy to overcome. So apparently, he was watching the entire show because he understands what.
And
this
we
is
appreciate your viewership.
Yeah, we do,
appreciate
we
your
do.
viewership.
And please, you guys, especially this subject today of bullying, please share this video.
Please share this
Repost.
video.
Yes.
Push this
Yeah,
video
very
everywhere. We want to get this, everybody out
The
there
more
to watch
shares
this,
and the more people that know that his film's going to drop on Amazon on January 1st of 2018, the more parents that find out about it, the more people that see it, the more people that watch it. Hopefully, it'll start, really bringing the subject more into people's homes, and parents will sit down and just start talking to their kids about the situation. They'll realize just how serious of a problem it is. And
Yeah.
they'll drop the iPads and iPhones and everything for just a few minutes.
And also, we want to, David, invite you back.
Oh, definitely.
Once
Yeah.
the video releases as a guest again, and bring some of your actors that were in, not actors, but some of the
stories,
the subjects
Some of the
that were
subjects.
in
Yeah,
the
that were in the
Bring
film.
them-
We would love to have them on the
yeah,
show.
we would love to have you guys back. I know
Yeah.
one personally that I just
Yeah.
found out this morning that is in the project. We would love to have her here to talk
Definitely.
about her
Absolutely.
story. And I know her personally, so I do
Yeah.
know that for a long season that she was being bullied in school to the point that she's had to be homeschooled,
Yeah.
the whole nine. So it's a really bad problem out here.
And so with her, an example, she tried to take her story to the cops, to the school district, to all over the place, but nobody would hear her.
Yeah.
You know, there was no solutions. So
Right.
her last and final draw was to seek out a film producer to get the story. And it just so happened that I was bringing together a bunch of stories
Right.
about bullying, and then she was one of those stories.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that she has one of the most powerful stories in the entire.
there.
I don't want
Wow.
to take light from any of the other people, but she has one of the most powerful stories. If you saw it, so you
Yeah,
see
I've seen
powerful
yeah,
her story is.
It's
And she is a
unbelievable.
unique kid, and you'll know
Yeah.
what I'm saying once you see the documentary. She is a very unique kid, and again, we were talking about being peculiar and different, and that is sometimes a target for attack.
It is.
Because people don't understand why you are who you are or whatever. So be careful of that, you guys. Again,
Yeah.
peculiar. Tyrese was bullied. Tyrese, my
Yeah.
brother, and look at him today.
Look
He
at
was,
him
he was
today.
called Bullet Head. He was called all these names because he looked different. He had
Exactly.
a big old noggin and just, it was
And he
very
was able
different.
to, he was one of the ones that was able to overcome it.
Overcome
Right,
it, yeah.
and look at
Versus-
him today. He's
Look at
very famous, yeah.
from what I've heard, that John, what's his name, Forbes or whatever, he was bullied. The guy from Microsoft, what's it, Bill Gates?
Bill Gates.
Was
Yeah.
bullied, you know, and look at them, they're successful. So just because you're bullying someone, you know, they might turn out to be your boss one day. They might turn
Absolutely.
out to be somebody really big in the world. So,
Yeah.
you know,
T. Saunders, David says, keep up the awesome work. Your PA family supports you.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
definitely,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
We appreciate
We
that.
want to read your comments here. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. Oh my God, this is really
let's
powerful.
set a goal.
Let's set a goal.
we're set a goal.
Share this video, guys. Let this video hit 10,000 views so people could see.
I agree.
you know, us explain bullying situations. Get this out there. Share it to your
Share,
friends.
share,
your
share, share.
family. Get it out there. Let people see it. We're gonna hit 10,000 views by
We're going to hit
tonight.
10,000.
By tonight, we want
God.
10,000
Yeah.
views.
That's a challenge to everybody.
That's
to
a
share
challenge.
It that
Share
much.
it, guys.
And
Share,
let's
share,
make
share.
sure that everything
Thank
goes
you
down
for
right.
that. Thank you for that.
So thank you guys for joining us on the show. Please share it. Please share it. Please share it.
Please share it. And no, Warren, this is not a couch auction.
No. And you know what? This is going to be an interesting show tomorrow as well. We have an artist coming in tomorrow as
Bronson.
well.
Yeah,
Bronson is
Bronson
actually Bronson Diamond's coming with us tomorrow on the live show. Next week, we're going to potentially go Animal Kingdom. I'm not going to tell you on which day, but we will have somebody coming in
I
with
want to be here for
reptiles.
that show.
Right.
It's
With
reptiles.
And so we're
Reptiles will be in the
actually
building.
Teresa's favorite.
Oh man.
we're actually going to bring reptiles on the show.
On the show.
And now we're competing with Maury and his Jack Hanna thing.
Right.
He still does
we're-
that?
I don't. Yeah, I think he does. But
Isn't there somebody late night that used to do that? Johnny Carson used to do
yeah,
that.
Johnny Carson used
We
to do it
also
as well.
have makeup artist Nikki Siegel. She'll be in the building next week.
Yes.
Awesome,
she is-
awesome makeup artist.
Yes.
Trained. She's been in Hollywood. Very professionally trained.
Yes.
So
we got a lot going. We got a lot coming up, folks. A lot of exciting content coming up. That is our show for today. And
Oh, my
what
goodness.
is your favorite Christmas song?
What is your favorite Christmas song?
Jingle bell,
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
I try to
what
avoid
fun
this
it
one, but
is
these
to
guys.
ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Yeah.